Let's go ahead and go through some examples of alignment. So here's an example where you can see I have a competency or a course goal, in this case, an assessment and a learning objective aligned. Now, while you may not notice, they all three have at least something in common. So when we're aligning everything, we're thinking of putting everything underneath this big umbrella over here of our competency goal or standard. But sometimes it's easiest to start over here at the end with the assessment and the learning objective. So we're going to start with the assessment. So we have created a field trip technology project. So students will be creating a video field trip or a tour of some place to share with their students. And so the learning objective over here is after completing this course, the student will be able to produce a video meeting at least 3 design standards. So you can see that this is a kind of vague objective because not only do I have in this one course, I have a field trip video, I have a lecture video, I have a demonstration video. I didn't want to write objectives for all 3 types of videos. So by keeping it as simple as to produce a video, I can use this for multiple assignments if I would like. But back to this one. After completing this course, they're going to produce a video. And then we know that this field trip technology project contains a video. So we will then look over here to our competency goal based on our learning objective. So we know they're producing a video, and over here we're having them construct learning modules for these different types of classrooms. So we know that a lot of times in online or hybrid or flipped classrooms, you might use those videos. And so they're constructing learning modules, which include this field trip technology, because usually it is on a tour of something to help them learn. So we can see that we went from the field trip to the learning objective, and now the learning objective aligns here under this competency goal. So we know that if the students complete the field trip project, they have produced a video that met at least 3 of these design standards, and that this will have proof that they met this goal of constructing learning modules for these different types of classrooms. All right, let's go on to the next one. We have completed case study is the assessment. So then we're going to talk a little bit about this case study. So it would be a case study where the students would have to answer questions based on the data inside this case study. We'll say it is an epidemiology course. And so then after completing the module, the students will be able to analyze data output correctly. So they might have data in this case study that they then have to analyze. And by grading the assignment, you'll know that they were either able to analyze it correctly or incorrectly. So we have those two are aligned together. And then if we move on to the next spot, we're going to take after completing this module, the student will be able to analyze data output correctly, move it over here to this competency from the CEF Master of Public Health program, where they're analyzing quantitative and qualitative data using biostatistics, informatics, computer-based programming, and software as appropriate. So we know that in this case study, they had to analyze some data, and then they did it correctly. And we now know that, yes, our students can meet parts of this competency because competencies are broad. So it doesn't mean they have to meet every single thing in every class, but it is nice that they have met it in this class. All right, and so our next one is a DRPH CEF competency. And so we're going to start over here with our assignment. So our students are going to design a rubric. It's an assignment. They have to do this after creating content and so that they can grade a assessment. And so here is our learning objective. By the end of this lesson, the students will be able to create an analytic rubric correctly. So we know that we can measure this assignment where they design a rubric. Are they creating it correctly? So we can measure it with this learning objective. And then let's go ahead and look here at the learning objective all the way over to the competency. So we do know that using rubrics is a best practice in pedagogical practices when we're teaching because it helps us be less subjective and more objective when grading, as well as give students the information they need to guide their assessment as they are completing it. So we know that when they design this rubric, we're going to measure it. And if they created it correctly, yay, they passed. If they did not, then they did not meet it. However, we'll just say they met this, and then we can say, oh, yes, this is a best practice, and it is aligned under this competency. But where can you find these competency goals or standards? On our University of Nebraska Medical Center catalog, many of our programs in any of these dentistry, medicine, nursing, public health have competencies listed. Some may be listed like this. Dentistry's competencies are listed at the bottom of the About Us page. However, they are here somewhere and you can find them. So this is one way if you want to align to the college's competencies. You can also align them, and I have the College of Public Health's mission, vision, and values. Align them to those. You can align them to your company's mission, vision, and values. You can align them to your program's mission, vision, and values. Another thing you could do is create your own goals. So you might have goals that you've created for your training that you've already decided about those competencies, what the big picture is. You can use those. Another thing you can do is in your backward design plan, your step one area where you talk about what your students should know, understand, and be able to do will help you get started in writing some of those goals that you want to use for your training as well. And remember, these are the big picture, the overarching goals, not so much the assessment goals. You can also look for standards. So sometimes there are standards for your discipline that you might be able to use to help guide your development of your programs. Another thing is just to Google. So if you have something and you're not quite sure where to find a standards, just put the topic in and type standards, and you will probably be surprised because I bet a few might come up.